Hello everybody, this is Dan with Screaming Donkey Woodwork, and I bet you're wondering what I'm doing here. Well, I can't tell you because it's illegal in 5 states. So join us today while we hit things with a hammer and pour sticky substances on our wood. Get ready to get weird with wood. All right, so about a year ago, I had a customer contact me and say that they wanted an ocean-themed ergonomic desk. And I think my exact response was, you know that's going to take a year, right? And he had absolutely no problem with it. The only specification was that the invoice said that it was an ergonomic desk. And you know why that is, boys and girls? That is because when you list it as ergonomic, your company will pay for it. And if my invoice is going to list that it's ergonomic, it's going to be schmergonomic. Of course, just like everyone and their brother, they wanted Walnut. Maybe they didn't. I would probably push Walnut on them anyway. So I live in the Louisville area, and there's a lot of walnut here because apparently 100 years ago, squirrels brought in the walnuts on the ferries. And the farriers would see them lugging around these big nuts, but apparently they just thought they were snuggling the nuts as opposed to smuggling the nuts. Speaking of, this video is absolutely not sponsored by Aldi. Next time you're out and about, why not stop and get your wife Aldi's nuts? Every time I go to Aldi, I hit my wife up with this joke, and I swear to God, she falls for it every single time. I call her up and I'm like, hey, I'm going to go to Aldi. You want me to grab some nuts for you while I'm there? And she's like, well, why would I want nuts from Aldi? And I'm like, you know, so I can bring you all these nuts, which is quickly followed up with her saying, hor, which I'm positive is her trying to make fun of mentally disabled people. Terrible person. It really is satisfying to just cut through some wood with the old saw. I guess at some point I could buy a beam saw, but I'm not there yet. All right, after I got it cut down to roughly the size that I need it, I got to go ahead and flatten it, which will make everything else in the process a little bit easier. I don't have to flatten down all the way because I'm going to have to come back and re-flatten it after we pour the epoxy. The CNC makes really quick work of it, and half the time when it's this small of a piece, I just run it by hand. I don't even bother setting up a program in it because by the time the program would be set, I'd be done. The next thing I did was to roughly cut out the sea creatures. While I am pretty decent at carving things out by hand, if I can cut it like 75-80% out with the CNC machine, I do that. So I start there. While here you can see that I'm putting up the walls to do the epoxy pour. I'm really lazy, so I don't build a full box. I just kind of hot glue everything into place. And because I am getting pretty famous, I called in my stunt double, Rock, from Rock Hard Caulking Services to do my caulking for me. And this way I can sit back and enjoy watching a good caulking while not getting all out of breath. And if you're like me, you'll be dressed up as Spider-Man sitting behind the table saw. Thanks, Rock. Great job. In this next shot, Becca, my associate woodworker, is probably doing something wrong, so let's watch it and see if we can find something to criticize. Looks like she's trying to pour a thin layer of epoxy on the bottom of the table so that it will seal up all the nooks and crannies. She is obviously holding that cup the wrong way, and she has poured too thin of a layer. After that's cured, she's got to scuff it up, and then now you can see my semi-finished sea creatures on top of the table there. I have carved those out by hand after CNCing them most of the way to get them to the shape that I wanted. We have a shark, a flabbity flap ray, a conalongal ray, and a bonalifish ray. After Becca finished screwing up all the sanding and vacuuming, I came back with some excellence and made these Jilly Jack fish. To make the shavings of the tentacles, I used an ice skate. To secure them in place, I used UV epoxy and one of those flashlights reporters use to show how gross the hotel room is. And doing this ensures that my jelly beans don't float away when I pour the epoxy. Do-do, 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 do-do. Time to take our fishy out and pour some deep pour epoxy by Wise Bond Epoxy.
Wise Bond.
Wise Bond, because I don't want it to shrink or turn yellow. All right, so first we're going to make up some dark blue. And for this application, I always use trans tint. And then I just keep adding black until I get it the darkness of blue that I want it. That black trans tint, though, goes a really long way, so I recommend that you only do a couple drops at a time. and that you pull it out with a cup like this to see how actually dark it is. I would not drip it in there like I just did. I actually normally use a syringe, but I was feeling a little dangerous today. I had a brief moment of panic here where I thought I made it too dark, but I did check it again with a cup, and it was exactly the right color that I wanted. And you can see that as we pour it out here that it is just a very dark blue. All right, after I pour this, I know already that I want to do a gradient color change on this. And the best way to do that is just to angle it and tilt the table. But before we do that, I'm going to take the opportunity to seal up the wood here. And that is because anytime you have a chance to seal up, you should, especially if you're going to do successive pours day after day. And that will keep air from leaking out of the wood. Again, being super lazy, I just use the wood stick that I use to mix the epoxy. You, however, might want to grab a paintbrush. Remember, I can get away with some bullshit because I know what I'm doing. Well, obviously, on this shot, it looks like I don't know what I'm doing because I suddenly forgot how physics and gravity work. So as I keep stacking things up under the UHMWPE, we get closer and closer to just dropping the whole table onto the floor. I knew what I wanted to do, but I went in with zero plan on how I was going to execute it. This is what I like to call the curse of familiarity. That's when you do something before and you're successful with it, so then you are a little bit more risky the second time you do it, thinking you're going to be able to get away with it. This is usually how people fall from high places. You know, eventually I did figure it out and stuck a clamp on the end of the table so it wouldn't slide off the edge, but I could have learned a very hard lesson here.
And PRS Mighty says congratulations to the lucky winner.
Congrats to the lucky
Ronnie
winner.
Howell says, I love the work man just doing what's on the table today.
Oh no, I smacked off the I made boo-boo. Alright.
Gibson as Jim
That's okay.
Lover says any funny entitled people stories.
So you saw me smack that fin off because I have big fat fingers and I fat finger lots of things. Yeah, I knew for shipping purposes that fin was going to have to come off anyway. I just didn't want to smack it off with a hammer like that. I glued it back on temporarily, knowing I was going to have to take it off yet again. And do you remember how I promised you Schmergonomic? Well, it is so Schmergonomic it can lift up my 300-pound butt. Yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed watching me make this. If you want to see more, there's going to be more. Get weird with wood.